You are listening to KSG Podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, exam-oriented, edited editorial for civil services aspirants. In this podcast, we are going to talk about what is the RBI's MPC. Source for the content is the Indian Express. A dissident member of the Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee, that is MPC, has said that the central bank's accommodative policy stance carries with it the risk of falling behind the curve in future because the stance limits the MPC's freedom of action in ensuing meetings. The MPC fixes the benchmark interest rate or the base or reference rate that is used to set other interest rates in India. An accommodative stance indicates willingness on the part of the central bank to expand money supply and cut interest rates. Talking about monetary policy, the primary objective of the RBI's monetary policy is to maintain price stability while keeping in mind the objective of growth. Price stability is a necessary precondition to sustainable growth. In May 2016, the RBI Act was amended to provide a legislative mandate to the central bank to operate the country's monetary policy framework. The framework, according to the RBI website, aims at setting the policy, that is the repo rate, based on an assessment of the current and evolving macroeconomic situation and modulation of liquidity conditions to anchor money market rates at or around the repo rate. Repo rate changes transmit through the money market to the entire financial system, which in turn influences aggregate demand, a key determinant of the inflation and growth. Now, talking about the committee, under Section 45ZB of the amended RBI Act 1934, the central government is empowered to constitute a 6-member monetary policy committee to determine the policy interest rate required to achieve the inflation target. The first such MPC was constituted on the 29th of September 2016. Section 45ZB lays down that the Monetary Policy Committee shall determine the policy rate required to achieve the inflation target and that the decision of the Monetary Policy Committee shall be binding on the back. Now, talking about the members of MPC, Section 45ZB says the MPC shall consist of the RBI governor as its ex officio chairperson, the deputy governor in charge of monetary policy, an officer of the bank to be nominated by the central board, and 3 persons to be appointed by the central government. The last category of appointments must be from persons of ability, integrity, and standing, having knowledge and experience in the field of economics, or banking, or finance, or monetary policy. The members of the present MPC were notified by the Centre on the 5th of October 2020. The 3 members from outside the RBI are Professor Ashima Goyal, Professor at the Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research, Professor Jayant R. Verma, Professor IIM Ahmedabad, and Dr. Shashank Bhide, Senior Advisor at the National Council of Applied Economic Research. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSG India courses and to crack the IELTS exam, visit ksgindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this podcast on ksgindia.com. Thanks for listening.